Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. We've got a great program planned for you. And sit back, relax, and join the show. We'll be starting momentarily.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Florida.
Monday in Florida.
Monday in Florida. Okay. Yes, we are now in Florida because of we want to avoid the winter weather. And we're both down here in Florida. And welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. In the second hour of the program, we're going to have VTech on the program, talking about their newest telephone systems that work with your computer and with mobile devices, Bluetooth devices, and yet it's a regular telephone. We're going to be talking specifically about what their latest model, which is the TL, I love this, how it just runs trippingly off the tongue, the TL86103.
The TL8613. I love that thing.
It's just a catchy name. I mean, I just, how do you it just, well, anyway.
Well, you can't hate the TL8613. It's a beautiful piece of equipment.
Yeah, it is. The name could use a little work, but the equipment is actually very nice. So we're going to be talking to them in hour two. And for those, for you Bitcoin fanatics, or people who want to know more Bitcoin, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, but with Bitcoin Comic. We're going to be talking about what the publication and what they do coming up at the first hour. Of course, all the regular things are going on. We have not one but two brand new news tips, bulletin reviews from Marty Winston. We'll have one in each hour. And also we have a special breaking report from Marty Winston. We have a special report that we're going to be he's done and for us, and having to do with Windows 10. And so we'll hear about that probably a little later on the show as well. So we have all of that coming up on Computer America. So anything else you want to talk about or mention before we bring our guests on the show, Ben?
No, not that I can think of. No, I think we're good.
Yeah, now, you see, I'm looking at your profile now. This is a different angle for you.
Yeah, people said that, capture my good side, and I realized I didn't have one, so I chose the one with the least amount of me in it. And that turns out to be my good side, so,
well, now you have little interesting things in the back. They look like little pigs or something you've got there. They're little porcelain.
Well, see, I make so much money doing what I do here.
Yeah.
I have to diversify my banks. You can't just keep it on one bank, otherwise you get, the FDIC just doesn't insure you. So, as you can see, I keep my banks very, very diversified. They're all over the place.
And they can't be hacked, right? I mean, no, you can't get it.
No, they cannot. They cannot be hacked. They cannot be stolen. They're almost as secure as Bitcoin.
That's right. Okay, good. Well, okay. Then we'll get let's get to our first hour guest now. I believe I'm not sure where he's not in the United States, and I'm going to ask him where he is. But obviously, Bitcoin is making huge strides throughout the world. Satoshi Nakamoto, its creator, continues evidently as an enigmatic figure, and not too much is known about this person. And evidently, joining us is Alex Pritchett. Alec is the graphic novel author of something called BitcoinComic.org. Alex, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Hey, Greg. Thank you for having me here. And hi, Ben.
I'm back.
So, where did you get this idea to create a comic book about Satoshi Nakamoto, and where did that idea come from?
It comes from seeing that Bitcoin really brings together two of the things that most intimidate people, and that is finance and technology. So if you unify those two things, that's Bitcoin basically. And what we wanted to create is a tool for people that would help them to understand what Bitcoin is in a fun way and in an easy way. And that's why we decided to do a graphic novel, which is the Bitcoin comic, and we started working on it like a year ago. And yeah, and we launched like a month ago, and since then has been doing really well.
Wow. By the way,
So,
again,
oh, go ahead.
I've been negligent again here as the host. I should give out the phone. If you have a question or a comment for our guest, you can give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Email is live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see on the left-hand side there, we click the chat room and live video button. Put in a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. Click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the chat room. Also sharing that same page is a live Computer America video streaming page. Right. You can not only listen to the show, but you can watch the show at computeramerica.com. So basically, Alex, you use Bitcoin yourself? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, I do use Bitcoin myself. Yeah, I don't use it on an everyday basis. I see Bitcoin for the time being more like an investment vehicle, if you want to. But sometimes I buy things with Bitcoin also.
Yeah, we've had a number of guests come on the show, and while they kind of see the value of Bitcoin, it's just, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin later, but it's so erratic and non-stable compared to many of the other commodities. But they're saying that it's a lot like trading commodity, just like gold, silver, real estate, what have you. It's a good place to put your money if you're not expecting like an immediate return or just like a long-term kind of deal. Like, is that how you see it and or encourage people to look at it?
Yeah, I think what most people try to do, or what they try to encourage, is more like to look into the technology of Bitcoin, what the blockchain technology means, and all the applications and what that means for the future. Because in the same way, the internet changed the way we live our lives today, which actually enables us to have this call right now. I'm sitting in Europe, you're sitting in America, but we cannot do all these things, which 20 years ago it wasn't that easy to arrange something like this. And Bitcoin will I think, and many people think, that it might be as disruptive as the internet has been for the world, and as a force for good, actually, in a decentralized way. Then, differently to the internet and the early startups in '95 like Yahoo and then Google that came later, and today people have the opportunity to participate in part of this future by buying bitcoins, because there's a unit that you can buy, which is Bitcoin, and that's the difference in reality. But because of that, this currency unit, because it's a very new technology, is very volatile. It's like if you take TCP/IP, which was created in the 70s, if it would have traded in the stock market, probably the price would have been crazy over the next 25, 30 years until it became really useful for the majority of the people.
It just seems like the internet is something that was clearly disruptive, but people also saw the immediate value of it. You could look up anything. It could, you could deposit any kind of information you could want. You could find it easily, and just the exchanging of information was just unheard of before the internet. Sure, you could send out letters and postcards and faxes and whatnot, but just internet made it all so much simpler, so much easier. What do you think Bitcoin kind of does that replaces currency? Because right now everyone has a fistful of change, everyone has a fistful of dollars in their wallet, and then there's like 500 different currencies around the world. What does Bitcoin disrupt in that whole chain?
Yeah, I see what I mean. if you look at it from our point of view right now, things seem like to be pretty obvious. But when you look at old videos from the 90s, things were not that obvious. They're like old TV shows, like from 93, 94, 95. And TV hosts, they would ask you like, yeah, but what is this whole thing about the internet? That's like something from terrorists, or it's to steal your data from your computer, whatever, you know. And it wasn't obvious at all, I think, for many people at the time. And the first killer application that really came around where people said like, oh, this is interesting, is email, and especially when Hotmail came around, and like people were like, oh yeah, I can send emails to everyone, I can communicate with everyone, and there was this open standard. For Bitcoin right now, the solutions or the killer application is still not here. The people that seem to be closest at this point of time to do anything like this is Coinbase, and as you've probably seen, they launched on Sunday. Or at least they made the announcement on Sunday that they're launching an exchange, and there are all kind of things that might derive from this. But more than money, what more people are getting excited about is that with Bitcoin you have programmable smart contracts or smart money, and it's basically, imagine you can take your money and you can program your money, and you can do computer programs, or like you can code your money, and there's all kind of crazy things you can do with that, because if you can start programming your money, we just don't know what will come out of this. So right now we have the protocol, and there's a huge community behind it around the world, and and there will be all kind of incredible things happening on top of that.
See, I think that's where Bitcoin needs, or at least the community behind Bitcoin needs to work on it, because obviously you can say it's the currency of the future. It's going to make exchange rates non-existent. You're going to be able to pay for things so easily. You're going to be able to do this and that kind of thing. It's ease, but I think some of the features of why Bitcoin is going to be so popular, the thing you mentioned right there was you're going to be able to program your money. Are you talking about the thing that immediately leaps to my mind is automatic bill pay? But I'm assuming that you're going to use your money differently than you would just cash. Like how would you use Bitcoin instead of just cash?
Well, I mean, I think one of the essential aspects of what Bitcoin is trying to do, which is similar to the internet also, is that you need to think about it like, how is money being created today, and how's money and managed today, and how's money being managed in Bitcoin. So how is it being managed today? Right now, in the United States, you have the Federal Reserve. They issue money, so they have your central institution, which is more or less independent of the government, depending on whom you speak to, and they issue that money. So that means that they control how much money will be issued, and to whom it gets issued, and they control interest rates, all kinds of different things like that. In Bitcoin, the issuance of Bitcoin is not being controlled by a central entity, and that means that it's a decentralized system. By being a decentralized system, what does that mean? It works in a very similar way to how BitTorrent is working. You have a network of computers, they all download the same software, and this network of computers that downloads that software has a database which is called the blockchain, and no one controls that money, because the protocol is issuing the money, or the Bitcoin units that will be distributed among the people securing the network. And why is this important? Well, the important thing about this is that this is really interesting for many countries, but also for many companies around the world, because you have a value transfer system that no one is controlling. That is interesting in the same way the internet is interesting, because everyone can work on that standard, and everyone says, well, look, since this is not being controlled by a company or by a country, we all have an interest in developing this. And that's one of the reasons why you have some of the most brilliant minds in the world from the development community working on Bitcoin, because it might become the underlying technology that allows this distribution and transfer of value between people, because it is the value unit, which is something that still until Bitcoin came, we didn't have something we could pay for digitally. So we could go more into the details of what is the real disruption from Bitcoin, which is really like more of a technology solution in itself.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that, but I think one of the things you mentioned there was how there is no central agency, and I guess that's I'm just reading the title of your comic, the Hunt for Satoshi Nakamoto. I guess that's where some people need to start, because if they're thinking, okay, well, who started Bitcoin? Is it going to be, Bank of America, SunTrust, whatever bank in Europe, what have you? But no, it's a single programmer who kind of designed this thing to be self-sustaining. Self-sustaining to a point. I hear that Bitcoin's going to run out of Bitcoin sometime in the next 20 or 30 years, something like that. I'm sure you know the date, but uh, is this where your comic starts out to explain all this?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, two things. I mean, just to answer your questions, and I go back to the comic.
Yeah.
The creator of Bitcoin is Satoshi Nakamoto, and as you say, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. If he's female, male, or a group of people, or a government anywhere. And what? But in reality, by today, it doesn't really matter anymore, because Bitcoin is an open code project. It's open source, so there have been hundreds of people contributing to the code. It has been reviewed by some of the most intelligent and brilliant coders of the world. And so it has been reviewed by everyone. It has been a huge incentive for many people, hackers around the world, to break that code. Because, I mean, right now, the value is probably around 4.55 billion in market capitalization. And no one has been able to break that code so far. So, and this is what makes it also so attractive, because it's open source, and it has been really able to withstand all kind of attacks. At least the code. Then it's a different discussion of people that have been able to attack centralized structures like Mt. Gox or Bitstamp recently. That's regarding that point. And then regarding the issuance, the way the protocol is designed is that by 2140. They will stop issuing bitcoins because that's when the last bitcoins will be mined. Because there's something that is called a mining process that allows the people securing the network, who are called miners, that mine bitcoins on average every 10 minutes. They mine a block. And that's basically those questions. But what we're trying to do in the comic book, basically what we have is an action story. So we have the mafia. They think that they found Satoshi Nakamoto, and some people think that Satoshi Nakamoto mined up to 1 million bitcoins, and right now there are like 13, 14 million bitcoins that have been issued, and there will be 21 million bitcoins that will be issued in total. And these guys, they think, wow, Bitcoin has so much value right now, we're gonna steal his bitcoins. And then we have to, sorry?
Yeah. I was thinking, because whoever this person may be, even if it's a group of people or a company or even just a single person, if they have 1 million Bitcoin sitting around, because when it first started, I guess mining a Bitcoin wasn't that hard. If there's one person mining, then that one person is going to get them very quickly, very easily, and there's not a lot of things to compute. But if he's sitting on 1 million and he's kind of waiting for, I don't know, 50 years down the road when Bitcoin has a solid hold, and he says, okay, here I am, and I have 1 million Bitcoins, each one worth about $2,000-3,000 50 years in the future. He's going to be a billionaire. Do you think that could possibly be kind of what he's doing, or is it just he just mined those just to get the whole operation going?
No, we just don't know. I mean, what I'm saying with the 1 million, that's just something some people speculate with. We just don't really know if he has that or not. That's something that has been floating around. But at least those public keys, which is something like an account in the Bitcoin world, and they have been really moving since they got those Bitcoins. So they're just sitting there. They didn't move when when Bitcoin moved up to $1,200 per Bitcoin, and now it's 260, and they didn't move. So we will see what Satoshi does, if he ever does anything with them. But from everything he said in the forums and everything, doesn't seem to be that was his main motivation. His main motivation, it seems, was really, and that's what I also believe in, and that's what we try to transmit in the comic book, is that this is a solution that will allow people to exchange value across the globe without a central entity, and that, I think that's the key point.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a great segue to what you're actually here for. You run bitcoincomic.org, and I guess one more time, why did you feel the need to start like what is the purpose of this comic, and why a comic?
Yeah, I mean, as we discussed before, like because Bitcoin brings together these two really difficult things that most people are usually afraid of. One is technology, and one is finance. So bringing those two together, that really brings Bitcoin. And what we wanted to create with the comic book is really like something that would allow it to anyone in the world really to read the comic book and say, wow, I really understand the basic principles of why Bitcoin is relevant, and how it might shape the world, and why people think about this, and why they're talking so much about it in the media. And usually, I mean, really, if you want to get a deep understanding, it's complicated. What we try to do here is to bring it to you visually, because by images, they impact and shape the mind of a person much quicker than reading text. So really, you read it in 60 minutes, the whole story, which is like 80 pages, and we have like an adventure story. So the whole thing is based on an adventure story, and just in between the lines and in the dialogues, we try to explain what the Bitcoin world is and how it works, and also what the different perspectives are on what Bitcoin means, because not everyone sees it in the same way.
Yeah. So what's the setting of the comic? To explain something like this, is this modern day? Is this futuristic, where Bitcoin has kind of disrupted currency as we know it? What's the setting of the comic?
It's a modern day American average city, where basically you have the mafia chasing a guy called Bob, and they think that he's Satoshi Nakamoto, and you have the NSA following the whole story and waiting to intervene to see if they really found Satoshi Nakamoto, and then a member from the Bitcoin community, he tries to save him from that whole situation. So we really tried to make it also fun and funny in different scenes, and we make a lot of references to cryptography and technology overall. In the different images that for people to enjoy it.
Alex, we have a question in the chat room. It's sort of related. He wants to know what you think of the new USA-based Bitcoin exchange called Coinbase, or if you have any opinion on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, the Coinbase is one of the most important names in the Bitcoin community, at least from the company point of view. There are like 2-3 companies that have really big names, and before they launched the exchange, they had like wallets, a wallet service, and a merchant service, like a payment processor. And what they announced on Sunday, with an exclusive with the Wall Street Journal, is that they're launching an exchange. So just to explain quickly what an exchange is, if that is not clear. Basically, it's a website where you can buy bitcoins or sell bitcoins. But the special thing about this exchange from Coinbase is that it's a regulated exchange that is authorized by the United States regulators. So that's a special thing, because that's the first exchange in the world that has been regulated officially. And especially it's important because it's the American one, because America is the most important market in the world. And that really it was accepting Bitcoin, and that it's like a stamp of approval basically from the government. That's how it's being interpreted by the market.
Wow. Well, hopefully that answers our chat room question from Jack.
Well, I mean, I guess eventually somewhere down the road there has to be some interaction between traditional places of business where really all they were dealing with was government-backed sources of money, be it whatever country, whatever government is supporting the currency, they were dealing with that. So I would think a Bitcoin would be something that would make companies hesitate to accept and trade. I know most of the things that like Tesla, I think, does some Bitcoin stuff. I want to say Overstock even does some Bitcoin. Like there are only a few companies, and there's more every day.
Amazon.
But Amazon indeed. But you get the feeling that companies are hesitant to jump on the Bitcoin train.
Yeah, I think that's normal because I mean Bitcoin started in 2009. There have been some aspects that are perceived as negative by the average person in the street, which are normal, and it's a new technology, and so people have been also waiting, like what we discussed right now, like for signs from the regulators and the government, but how this will be regulated, how this will be recognized. But the thing is that you have some of the most important venture capital firms in the world, like Andreessen Horowitz in San Francisco, or Union Square Ventures in New York, and also many others investing heavily into the Bitcoin space. So actually, if you compare like the level of investment that the internet had in 1995, which was around 300 million, we achieved that level last year in 2014. Also, so there has been like maybe like about a 400 million that have been invested so far in Bitcoin startups around the world, and I mean, in only Coinbase, they announced I think 2 weeks ago that they received 75 million from another round where also the New York Stock Exchange participated, a big Spanish bank which is called BBVA, and other important institutions also from the United States. And in total, they received so far 106 million in investment. Only one company, which is Coinbase, from those 400 million so far, which is the estimate. So this is a big thing, and it's really like the VC community, and especially big profile companies, are betting on. And also like all the important banks are looking into this, not only into Bitcoin, they're also looking into Ripple, which is another protocol, because and the discussion is moving away just from this is money and we will all use Bitcoin as money, as a digital currency. It's moving more into the discussion, and Bitcoin will be the backbone of the payment infrastructure and the value exchange. What does value exchange mean? So maybe it will mean, and maybe that's one of the reasons why the New York Stock Exchange invested in this, because maybe in the future shares will be traded between people. So you will be sending a share to Greg directly instead of using an official exchange. So the commission structure will be different, because maybe that will be much more efficient to do and much cheaper. So they're all kind of things that we will be able to transfer and share in this data registry, because basically the only thing that the blockchain is a database that is sitting in many different computers around the world at the same time, and where we're registering this. But the unique thing is that each Bitcoin unit is unique. And that's a special thing, because if you think that you have a digital unit that is unique, that no one can copy, that's something which is called a double spending problem that no one before had been able to solve. And that's basically what Satoshi Nakamoto solved with the Bitcoin protocol. So, and that's what the big fuzz is about. I mean, the thing is that you have to explain many different things to make this understandable. But yeah, I mean, those 400 million that have been invested by the venture capital community so far are kind of a sign that of why this might be interesting.
Alex, let me ask you this. I mean, this Satoshi Nakamoto, okay? Do you think he's a real person, or he or she is a real person, or why would someone create something like this and then and hide?
Have hands-off approach. And why do you create something so big and powerful, but then have such a hands-off approach? Just let it go.
I think because the origins, and you have many instances like this for in technology. I think the origin from Bitcoin is more. I think Satoshi was more liberal-minded, at least in some of his comments, and he didn't want to be like the center of attention of what he created, and then also like. Probably he was thinking this was an experiment, because no one really thought this would have any value in the future. Because when he launched it in 2009, where he shared it was a cryptography list. People did not even take it seriously and directly. I mean, initially he was just alone there, working on it, and then some people started working on it and looking into the code and said, "Oh, this is really interesting. This is it seems that he solved the double spending problem. And we might just discuss double spending problem between us right now and say, oh, that's not really, so why do I care? But that's a really, really important thing, because if you take BitTorrent, which is something that more people understand, BitTorrent, you have a digital copy, and you want this digital copy, you don't care if this digital copy get copied 100 times or 1 million or 1 trillion times, because it will be just distributed in that network, and people will be able to share those movies, and that's fine.
We're gonna have to break. We're at the bottom of the hour, and then we're going to continue on. And we're talking to Alex about the graphic novel Bitcoin Comic. We're going to get into that more specifically when we come back. News to Spool review coming up too. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host Cheryl for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
I thought I told you not to sneak up on me. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Olight S20R Baton and Dock Flashlight. It's a chapstick-size rechargeable lithium battery inside a Tootsie Roll-size everyday carry light. And that's something we might expect in a rechargeable flashlight. But the Olight S20R rechargeable LED baton light adds layers of extra useful features. The cleverest piece is a small triangular charging dock that not only gets powered over USB, it has a pass-along 2-amp USB charging port. The dock is automatically lined up with the charging contacts on the magnetic base of the light. That magnetic base is strong enough to hold the light horizontally when working on a car or in a circuit breaker panel. A single button on the side of the light selects high, which is 550 lumens, good for 2 hours, or medium, which is 120 lumens, good for 9 hours, or low, which is 5 lumens, good for 120 hours per charge, or with a double press, a bright strobe mode. Bottom line, the Olight S20R Baton flashlight and dock provide a handy combination for keeping a fully charged and very capable LED flashlight at hand. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's 33 minutes past the hour. That was Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review. And I'll be honest, I missed it. But that's okay if you miss it, just like I did, because you'll be hearing it the rest of the week. So the rest of this week, first hour, should be the same one. So catch it tomorrow, or the day after, or the day after, or the day after. But right now, we are talking to Bitcoin Comic, Alex Prukchat, and we are just, and you know, we were just about to get into, uh, man, I want to say the
Blockchain.
blockchain. Yeah. We're just about to get into the blockchain, which I hear is really how the coin is able to work and how it actually works. So we'll explain the blockchain thoroughly, and then we should really start talking about your comic and some of those things. So blockchain.
Yeah. So basically, what the blockchain is a decentralized, which means a distributed database across different computers. And the comparison I was making was that if you take BitTorrent, for example, and you download a movie, that movie might be on 100 computers or 1 million computers. It doesn't really matter. In reality, for the BitTorrent network, it's really interesting to have as many copies as possible of that single piece of movie or music or whatever you want to share there. And what Satoshi Nakamoto did with Bitcoin and the blockchain technology is he was able to create in the Bitcoin protocol and in that network a unit that was not that no one was able to copy and reuse. So basically, you have one Bitcoin, but that single Bitcoin in that network is unique. It doesn't exist twice. And that's something very special because if you think about it, a Bitcoin unit is nothing more than a piece of code. And making it unique, making that piece of code unique is what gives value to Bitcoin because there's a huge community of people participating in that community and with units that are called Bitcoin that are unique. And that's basically what Satoshi Nakamoto solved, and that's why this enables the exchange of value across the world. So many people think that this will allow for Bitcoin or something similar in the future to become the underlying technology to allow payments across the world. So if you want to make payments, like for Mexicans living in the United States to Mexico, they might be able to do wire transfers in a much cheaper and more efficient way than the way it works today. Or if you want to trade shares between people in a peer-to-peer way, you might be able to do that. All kind of different applications that might be coming out of it. Or there might also be things like having a decentralized Twitter, where you say, okay, there's a new Twitter system, but it's not being controlled by a company, where some people maybe have privacy concerns sometimes, and you manage your identity and your accounts in other systems where that are not really controlled by a company, and it's being controlled by a network of computers around the world.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it seemed. Oh man, what was I about to say? I just blew my own mind. No, I got it now. Whenever I bring up the idea to Bitcoin to people who have no idea, who have no technical knowledge, and they've never heard of it before, they say, well, it's all on your computer. What keeps someone from just copy pasting and making as many copies as they want? Because they treat it like a file, and while it might be a file, it still has to be validated against everything against the server. So that, I guess, is one of the biggest things, is even though it's all digital, it's not like it's completely, you can just replicate it as many times as you want. So good on Nakamoto for getting around that problem with digital currency, because it would be very easy if it didn't validate against one another to just copy, paste, and all of a sudden you have $10 just turned into $10 billion.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
there's also just a limited amount of Bitcoin anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. So tell us about the comic. We're talking about. Tell us. I mean, I go to the website and you go to you can check it out, bitcoincomic.org, or you can go to our homepage at computeramerica.com. Just go to our show notes page, and we have today's show, which is the 26th of January, and you click on it, and you'll see Bitcoin, and you can go to the website there, bitcoincomic.org. What is the purpose of this website? I mean, it looks very interesting. Got cartoons. It looks like a comic. What's the purpose of the website?
Yeah, I mean, I think for anyone going to the website, the main thing we want to do is two things. I mean, we want you can check our video, which has been watched, I think, 14,000 times. That's been really popular, and there you can really get a quick understanding of what this is. Basically, what inspired us is the movie Matrix, and which is an action movie. A lot of very dynamic, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be entertaining and easy to understand, and really make it available and hook up everyone. And then in between, during the whole storyline, we explain to you and we make it educational, and let you learn what Bitcoin is. And then in the second part of the comic book, I should call it graphic novel because it's 120 pages in total, so that's how it's technically called. We also have an appendix where we show explain what open source means, why Bitcoin is relevant. I mean, and we highlight some of the most relevant people for the time being in the Bitcoin space and what they do. So you can sign up on a newsletter, but the key thing really is watch the trailer, which is only 1 minute, and then you have a link to buy the comic book. I mean, the best place to buy the comic book actually, if you want to get it really quick, is on Comixology.com, which is the biggest comic platform in the world. And if you just search for Bitcoin there, you will find it, and it's only $9.99, and you can get the comic.
Wow. And you say it's more a graphic novel. It actually looks like a book, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the comic world, basically you differentiate between comics, which is usually more like 20, 30 pages, and it's more about superheroes, and a graphic novel is usually much longer. It's like 70, 80, 90, 100 pages, and you try to explain more deeper stories, basically.
Sure, exactly. Now, are you the artist? Did you do this? Did you actually? You're the author, but did you do the drawings as well?
No, we are three people. I wrote the technical script, so I really made sure that the whole script covered all the Bitcoin aspects correctly, and that it was reflecting what Bitcoin really means. Then there was another person. His name is Giuseppe. We're all from Spain in Europe, and he created the storyline because he's a professional storyline writer for comic books. And then Jose Angel, he wrote, he drew the whole comic book, so he did the whole creative side of.
What's his name? Sorry, what was it?
Jose Angel.
Okay. Now, where are you located, Alex?
Bless you.
Where the country? Where are you?
I'm based in Spain. We're all based in Spain, in Europe.
All right. Okay. So you now that you've done the graphic novel, I mean, are you going to continue doing more of this? Are you going to have episodes, or is this just a one-time shot?
Initially, we were thinking of doing this like as a one-time shot, and we really want to see how people reacted to this. And I mean, so far people have been, especially people that like technology, they really like this a lot, because I mean, you might understand technology but not necessarily had time to learn about Bitcoin. So this is a really good way to start learning about it and to make it to use it as a gift also for your friends and family. And we might be doing more in the future, especially about Bitcoin 2.0 projects, because Bitcoin 2.0 basically is all these things that we've been talking about smart contracts, smart money, all these applications that might be coming out in the future.
So, who would you say your audience is for this book? Is it to get new people excited about Bitcoin, or just to entertain those who are already into Bitcoin, or is it both?
I think it is both. I mean, because the way we have created the book is really to make it accessible to everyone. So for people that don't know anything about Bitcoin, I think this will be really interesting. But what we've noticed is that people that are technically minded or that like technology, that they really enjoy this book. They really have a great time. I mean, I've been doing a couple of podcasts and radio shows with technology shows around the world, and they really like this a lot. If you're not interested in technology, it might not be as interesting for you, but if you like it, then it's really great. And then for people that know Bitcoin already, this will be interesting also. And I did read this book from Michael Miller, who's I think sometimes on your show.
You know Mike Miller?
I don't know him personally, but I did read his book about Bitcoin because he wrote a book about Bitcoin.
That's right. Yes.
We had him on the month he wrote it, and we were just talking all about Bitcoin. That's another good one to check out. And so honestly, this is the first time I've heard from anyone who's actually read his book, who's not just learning about it. It sounds like you are seasoned in Bitcoin. What do you think of Michael Miller's book on Bitcoin?
I think it's really well written. You notice that he really makes an effort, and you notice that he's not from let's call it the hardcore Bitcoin community. So he tries to take an objective, neutral view on it. So I think it's very well done. It's a good introduction to the whole subject. There are also other books that have been coming out since then that are really, really good. They're really recommendable. I think he takes a critical approach, which is very fair, because it's a new technology, and I think we need to be critical, but at the same time he's open-minded and say, well, look, there might be all kind of really interesting things coming out of this.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be on the show this coming, I think, Friday, right? He's going to be on this Friday, or is it next? No, it's this Friday. So we'll let him know what you said.
Yeah. No, but I really think that. I think he did a good job, and I try to read all the books that come out about Bitcoin, just to keep on checking. And you always learn more just by seeing the different perspectives of people, and that's why I did read his book.
Right. Well, I'm sure, as I said, he'll be gratified to hear this. So.
By the way, getting back to the comic, you said that there were only three of you. Now, is that 2 illustrators and an author? Like, is it just 3 of you that run this whole thing? Because it seems like a lot of work for 3 people.
It is a lot of work, but yes, it is 3 people. Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It was almost a full-time job by the end of last year. But yeah, no, but I mean, also like the other 2 people I work with, Jose Angel and Giuseppe. They're professional comic book people, so they do comic books every day of the year, and yeah, so it has been really a lot of fun. I mean, it's really anyone who didn't have the opportunity to do comic book and likes to do comic books or read comic books, I really recommend it. It was a really lot of fun, and transmitting information or telling stories in a visual way. It just captures your mind in a much quicker way, because our brain is just structured that way that we can absorb images really, really well, and in a much more efficient way than we absorb text or other media, basically.
So, again, I encourage people to watch. When you go to bitcoincomic.org, they actually have a video that you can watch, Bitcoin: The Hunt for Satoshi Nakamoto, and you can see that it's up in English, so you can see it for yourself. And there are other videos that you can watch. I mean, there are other more information on the website that you can see it. If people want to actually buy the Bitcoin comic, where can they go to get it?
They can. The best way to buy it is on Comixology.com, because that's where you can buy the digital edition of the comic book. And to buy the English paper edition, you can also click on the link on the website which says buy comic. The only thing is it takes you to Spanish website, so if you don't speak Spanish, it might be a bit of a hassle. But those that speak Spanish, they might just do the whole thing very easily. We're working right now on making it available on Amazon very soon. So once it's available on Amazon, everyone will be able to download it, to buy it there, also for the physical edition. And we published the whole book so far in English and in Spanish.
Ah, okay. Well, you're in Spain, so that probably makes sense.
That and just piling technology on top of technology. Google Translate. I've been to many pages that were not in English, and Google does it well enough that you can navigate a web page, even though you don't speak the language.
I downloaded the Google Translate app for the iPhone. That thing is amazing. It's spooky how good that is. It's and it works with Spanish and English as well. So basically, now we only have a few minutes left, Alex.
Also, is there anywhere that you could buy the Bitcoin comic? Yes, you know where this is going. With Bitcoin.
Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy it. The publisher, the Spanish publisher who holds the rights on the comic book, as far as we know, he was the first comic book publisher in the world that made his whole collection available for Bitcoins. So when you go to the website, when you click on Buy Bitcoin, you can then choose if you want to pay via credit card, wire transfer, or or bitcoins. And actually, there have been really loads of people around the world buying the comic book via the publisher directly. And just for the crowd sale we did in English last year, we raised like 25,000 US dollars for the English edition of the comic book. And there were people from 30 countries. So we had, I mean, many people, of course, from the United States, but also from the UK, Germany, Japan, Iceland, Argentina, Brazil, I don't know, you name them. There have been Australia, New Zealand, people from all over the world who have been supporting the project and that are interested in learning more about Bitcoin.
Now, has this proven to be, at this point, a profitable venture for you, Alex?
So far, it has proven to be a break-even event, which is really, really good, because usually with comic books, you don't make much money. 70% of the projects usually they lose money, and
Hey,
so
tell that to Stan Lee.
yeah. I mean, but those are like the blockbusters of the comic book industry. I think if you have Spider-Man, then yes, you probably make money. But for everyone else who creates something new, it's usually something very risky. But I mean, we've been really lucky, and especially the Bitcoin community and also all the people around the world that love technology. They've been extremely supportive of this. So yeah, we've been doing really well, and at least we've made break even. But there might be other things coming out in the future. If we could, for example, do like a movie about the whole story with the characters and everything. And as Bitcoin grows, I think that might become interesting also. And we're really, really early days. You know, like a year ago, I thought, oh, this is so advanced already. Mm-hmm. Today, I think more people are thinking like this also. It's so early, and there's so many people that have to learn about this. There's so many things that have to come up. Once we see the first big killer application, which I think will be coming, in, especially for people traveling around the world, and companies like Coinbase, they will allow people to hold Bitcoin and to exchange them in real time to US dollars or vice versa, without losing anything in volatility, and then really make payments around the world in a very efficient and easy way, then it will really grow very dramatically when that moment comes.
Oh, well, listen, you know, I hope things are going to work well for you, and obviously it looks like it is. Now, did you touch on I apologize because I got distracted. Did you talk a little about your crowd sale with Swarm? Did you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Joel Dietz, he was on the show once, if I'm not wrong. He's the CEO of Swarm.fund, and we were the first project that raised funds or did a crowd sale on the website. And so the 1st of September 2014 until the 15th of September 2014, we did a crowd sale, and we raised basically around 25,000 US dollars in bitcoins at that point of time. And and there were like people from 30 countries, like 200 different people that bought the book in advance in English, and we delivered those around the world, and that worked really well.
Okay.
Support everywhere. That's impressive.
It is. Yes, it is. And it's certainly a wonderful venture. I mean, I'm looking at the website, and it looks really good. I mean, how long did it take you to actually get the website up around?
It took us 2 weeks. A lot of what helps a lot is that, of course, we had all the graphical material already there because we had been working on it the whole year. So every time you load the website, there's the background changing, and then we have it in 2 languages, in English and Spanish. And then for us, the key thing really is the video, because we think that what the Bitcoin comic is about gets transmitted in the video, where you have a lot of action, a lot of entertainment, and then as you go, and once you read the comic book, as you go through the pages, you will be discovering how this works. And what I really notice is that people read this, and after 60 minutes, they're like, "Oh man, this is so exciting! I want to know much more about this. I really want to deep dive into Bitcoin and what decentralized technologies mean." And that's the main purpose for me for the comic book, is because I think this would, if you want to see the future today, I think this is a window to the future to understand a little bit what it can mean for us, and that's really really exciting.
Yeah, and
It's what was I gonna say? It's I'm done. I want to say, going into this, what would you say to someone who's never done Bitcoin? Like, would you say just keep an eye on it, keep an eye out for it, learn about it, and realize where it's going, or do you recommend everyone go set up a wallet and start mining themselves? Like, where does the average person maybe listening to this fall into Bitcoin?
For the average person in the United States, what I would suggest is that the two ways. I would try to get some bitcoins. I mean, one bitcoin is like $260 right now, so you don't need to get one bitcoin. You might just get bitcoins in value for $10, for example. But just try it out, because if you love technology, if you love the internet, and if you want to see the same things that happened with the internet in the last 25 years, I think Bitcoin is a window to allow you to do that. So you can either go, if you live in any of the big American cities, to an ATM and just buy some units of Bitcoin, smaller units, or you can, for example, go to a company like Coinbase. They allow people from 24 states right now to open an account with them. I mean, at least for the exchange, I think for if you just want to use the brokerage service, it's more states, and you just open an account with them and you send them some money via HSC, and then you get some bitcoins, and then you start using it, and it's good to experiment with. It's like talking about Twitter and using Twitter. It's a completely different experience doing that, and then you learn more about it, and then try to learn more about what blockchain means and what decentralized technologies are, which I really think will shape the future.
Well, Alex, listen, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight, again on Computer America. And again, it's bitcoincomic.org. Check it out, and best of luck to you on your efforts, and thanks for being with us here tonight on Computer America, Alex.
Thank you very much for having me over. I had a great time, and I look forward to talk to you again when we have the opportunity.
Absolutely. You take care. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue.
I was going to say this real quick. Very rarely do we get a guest that is not only passionate, but also extremely knowledgeable about a subject such as this. He's made a comic book. He's trying to educate the masses, but you can tell he loves what he's doing.
Yes, he does, and
so it's nice to see.
Yeah, we were glad to have him here on the show. Listen, we've got a breaking story from Marty Winston, and so we're just going to go ahead and do it. This is about Windows 10, and let's go. Go for it, Marty.
This is a News Tips Bulletin news break. Windows 10 may auto-expire. It looks like Microsoft plans to sell Windows 10 as a subscription service, software as a service, with an initial cost less than a non-expiring use license, which is how Windows is sold now, but a late renewal payment could result in full or partial denial of access to Windows 10. It is not clear at this writing whether Windows 10 will be available only as a subscription service or, like Office and Office 365, both ways. Windows 7 and 8 users will get free first-year Windows 10 upgrades that remain good for the device's lifetime. Whether or not full subscriptions and the threat of expiration happen or not, Microsoft would not comment. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin news break.
And thanks so much for that, Marty. Again, things are heating up for Windows 10, as you can see.
I'd like to talk about that if we weren't up against the break.
Yeah, well, and we have another guest coming up in the second hour as well. Of course, Michael Miller is going to be with us this Friday, both hours, and we're going to be focusing a lot on Windows 10 with Michael Miller. So he's got a lot to report about that, especially in light of the unveiling that Microsoft had last Monday about their update on Windows 10. So that's all coming up this Friday. In the meantime, we're going to continue on. VTech is going to be joining us in the second hour. VTech well known. They make a lot of electronic devices, specifically telephones. And we're going to have the Director of Product Marketing, Brad Pittman, on with us in the next hour, talking about their latest phone that has like literally all the
We
bells.
are so excited to have Brad Pittman here with us.
Yes.
Exciting.
They're going to have their TL86103. That model, the name just rolls trippingly off the tongue, and it's a very catchy sound. But really, I mean, that's with Bluetooth and I mean, you name it. I mean, this one's got everything, and we're going to have him on the show. In the meantime, you listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. VTech is coming up in the next hour. We're going to take just a very, very short break and then be right back. You listen to the Computer America Show. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
I'm good at what I do. Welcome into the second hour of the Computer America Show. We are right in the middle of it, but one thing I just want to kind of poke in here, and by the way, we want to thank our first hour guest from Bitcoin Comics, Alex, for joining us. It was one of the most informative shows we've had on Bitcoin in a long time, and pretty much of the entire time since Bitcoin just recently started. And here in hour two, we are going to be having VTech on the show. And we're going to bring Brad Pittman on in a second. But I just wanted to say one thing real quick about the Marty Winston alert. I believe that's what you called it?
That was News Tips Bulletin Alert, yes.
Yeah, the News Tip Bulletin Alert and that whole thing. I just got to say, I can't believe that they're going to make us the operating system a subscription model.
Yeah, I know. That was really crazy. That's why I wanted
I can't imagine it's going to be some sort of support where if you don't renew, it's just going to you're going to be in some way unprotected, kind of like antivirus. But I can't imagine they just shut your whole computer down. It has to be some unsupported deal rather than a complete shutdown.
Well, he wanted to get it on the air, and he wanted to validate the report before he made the report. And according to Marty, he said that he got the confirmation, to do it on the information, and that's why we wanted to get it, on Monday. We found out about it. Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to hear more about that. But that is a segment that we will probably bring up in one of our news stories, our tech news. Mm-hmm. So instead, though, this hour, sometimes in the second hour, we do indeed have guests, and this one we have a great guest.
Yes, we do.
So
joining us to discuss the latest technology in home phones, we have is VTech. We're going to be taking a closer look at some of the newest models, including the new TL86103. Joining us in this hour is Brad Pittman. Brad is the Director of Product Marketing. Brad, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So we're very pleased to have you here. So VTech, been around for...
Wait, before you get started, Mr. Brad Pittman, how often do you two get confused?
Oh, God.
I have heard that before.
Yeah, right.
It's funny. Most of the people confuse my name are generally in one gender. So not a lot of men are pointing that out. A lot of women think it's interesting.
Yeah, evidently.
Well, I'm glad I'm in good company then. I'm sorry. It was low-hanging fruit, but it looks so right. I had to. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Now, Brad's been on the show befo Ben. I don't know if you were my co-host back then, but I think...
Probably not. I don't remember this particular one.
Yeah, exactly. So tell us, Brad, a little bit about the company VTech. For those who might not have heard of the company, tell us a little bit about the company itself.
VTech started in the 1970s. We're a Hong Kong-based company. We originally started in the toy industry, which we're still one of the major players in the electronic learning products. And then in the 1990s, we ventured into telecom, where we were one of the first manufacturers to bring in a 900 megahertz cordless phone, and we did that in the 1990s and have many firsts. We were the first 5.8 gigahertz. We were one of the first expandable telephones, and we've been doing cordless phones for a long time, and we are now the market share leader. And we're still very active into the landline telephone category, both corded and cordless. We've also ventured into some other categories, into baby monitors. We've gotten into business telephones. So we're very diverse.
Now, the model that we're going to be talking about is it the TL86103?
Yes.
Because I put that in the search under the VTech website, and it comes up with 0 results. So I'm not sure if there's a. I'm putting it in. I'm putting it in properly, so I'm not sure why VTech isn't showing it. That's strange.
One reason is that it's an AT&T branded phone. We have the licensing rights to AT&T, and so we have a whole website under telephones.att.com where you'll find all of our telephones.
Okay, so we have to go to telephones.att.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
So, by the way, what is the common feature between? You said you first did corded and wireless phones, and then you branched out into baby monitors. Like, what's the common feature between all those? Do you make like the guts of these devices? Why do you branch out that way?
Well, if you think about a baby monitor, it's almost like a telephone. It uses the same technology of radio frequency, and in fact, we use the same DEC technology. And so
now,
it really makes a lot of sense.
Now you throw out the word DEC, and you see that a lot on the phones. You know, you can have a lot of things on the phone, but you see the word DECT. It's almost like a bragging right. What is DEC? And I think 6.0 is the latest version. What is that?
So it is what DECT is an acronym for Digitally Enhanced Cordless Technology. Mm-hmm. And then 6.0 was a version that was ratified. Mm-hmm. In reality, it is using 1.9 gigahertz frequency within the U.S., and this frequency has been granted by the FCC to be a consumer-only frequency. So there isn't going to be a lot of competing technologies. And so the benefit to the user is that a DEC 6.0 telephone will have the least amount of interference, which would give you a better connection and better sound quality, along with more range.
Well, and I want to explain this a little bit more, because when you say that, and that sounds like, because normally you would think 2.4, was the typical cordless phone frequency, and then they came out with the DEC 6.0. But when you read the FCC, it says, this device cannot block, communications or interfere with the. What is that all about? I mean, why can't you do that? I mean, if it's your frequency, why can't you say this is mine and nobody else can have it?
That's a really good question, and and now you're kind of getting away from a little bit of my expertise.
Okay.
I know that when we were part of a consortium that was really working with the government to approve this 1.9 gigahertz, and in fact there were some other technologies that were using it that we had to pay off for them to go and get into another frequency. But I wasn't really involved in those details.
Got it. I understand. Well, I didn't mean to throw you a curve, but I thought it kind of hit me, and I thought I would ask it. But let's get back to this this phone. Now, this phone, again, VTech makes a lot of phones, and a lot of them are quite beautiful to look at. There have actually been a couple of movies out where I actually spotted a couple of the really modern-looking VTech phones. I don't know if that was product placement, but they certainly look really, really high-tech. Um, and now, when you go about designing a phone like this, what I mean, you want to you say, okay, well, what do we want to put out that's new, or do you want to put something in here that's not in other phones? I mean, when you design a phone like this, what are some of the things that goes through in designing a product like the TL86103?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. You know, our main focus is usability.
Mm-hmm.
The TL86103 is a replacement of a very successful product that's been in the market for years. And so we had a lot of data based on the previous model of what was working, and both from a usability, from a feature standpoint, from a price. And so what we did is that we looked at how can we make the 86103 better, which we really believe we have by adding a lot of different added features and functionality. And we also worked on the cosmetics. This is a two-line corded and cordless telephone where we really envision the majority of people who are buying this are a small business or a home office, and so all of their other products that they're buying is fitting into that small office type of look, and so they want something that looks good but also is very easy to use. This product with the corded base, we're really focused on making the ergonomics good. If you look at our corded handset, it isn't a shrunken handset. It's actually a full-size corded handset. So people who are on the phone all day are going to really appreciate having a full-size corded handset. We also put a very large tilt display on the base unit, so it's really easy to see. Big keys. They're also in the base unit. It has an answering system, and the answering system has a big keypad just focused on maneuvering the answering your messages.
Mm-hmm.
Big keys for line 1 and 2, so it's easy to see which line a call's coming in or if you want to dial out. So ergonomics is really important, the looks is really important, but also features. And the consumer who's buying a two-line phone really is looking for a lot of features.
Right, and certainly this model, the TL86103, certainly seems to have a lot going for it. Why don't you talk a little bit what's new with this product?
So what's new with this product is that we've added enhanced telephone features and enhanced what we're calling connect to cell features. And you kind of referred to connect to cell, calling it Bluetooth. So I'll kind of separate those two. So the enhanced telephone features on the 86103, one of the main ones is that we added caller ID announce. So what this feature does is it will say the name of the caller on the handset and the corded base. So if you're working and a call comes in and you're really focused on what you're doing, you don't even have to look at the phone. The phone will tell you who's calling, and it'll pretty much read the caller ID.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice.
We also added push to talk. So this system will allow you to add up to 12 total handsets. And so we added a push to talk key on the handset, allowing you to have a push to talk kind of walkie-talkie conversation with the handset and base. So really easy to communicate if you're a small business and have multiple employees.
Okay, that's a nice feature.
And then another one of the big features we added is what we're calling our AT&T soft phone call manager. And what we learned from previous models is that there's a high percentage of small businesses who use VoIP soft phones like Skype and Microsoft Link. And there's a lot of advantages to those soft phone services where a lot of them get free or really good deals on international calls. But those are a computer application, and a lot of people in this country are using their computer to make those calls and actually talk on their computer using the speakerphone and mic. That experience is a lot better when you're using a telephone system. So the base unit on the 86103 has a USB port that you can connect directly to your PC, and then we also have software in the box that allows you to merge your VoIP softphone service into our cordless system, and you can dial on this software, you can answer calls, but you can do it using your corded handset or your cordless handset. So you have a mobility, you have a better sounding experience, and so it's just a way better experience than using your computer.
So let's say someone calls you on Skype, and you have your phone connected to your computer and set up and everything. It would simultaneously ring your computer, which you can then answer through your computer, and it will simultaneously ring your phone on your desk.
Well, it will ring you'll see it on your computer, and in fact you do have to hit answer on your computer because it is still a soft phone. But then you pick up the handset and have that conversation.
Okay, so you can use your corded or cordless phone. You go through the settings and you pretty much have it set to speaker and microphone set up as the phone on your desk. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, yes. On top of those features I just talked about, this product also has the AT&T unique unsurpassed range, where we have an antenna on the base plus extra filtering on the handset that gives you the best range in the industry. Could be up to 45% more range than the competition. That's a really important feature. And it has an answering system, a dedicated mailbox for each line. And so if you're possibly running a small business on one line and you're home on the other line, you have your own separate mailboxes that you can manage and access.
Okay, that is nice.
So then from the connect to cell features, previous models just allowed you to make and receive cellular calls, which this one allows you to do. But we added a lot more functionality. So connect to cell means that you can pair up to 4 cell phones to be stored in the system with 2 cell phones that can be actively connected, meaning that I can take calls from either one of these cell phones. And in fact, you could have calls coming in simultaneously, and you can answer both of those with this system. You can download your cellular directory from all of these phones into the system. It'll actually hold 6,000 directories into the system.
Wow.
So
I don't think
if you want to.
I don't think I know 6,000. I don't think I know 6,000 people.
No, but you'd be surprised at how many. You might know 300 people and have 3 different numbers. And so they catch up. I mean, there's a lot of numbers that people have, and so you could have 4 cell phones in the system, and each cell phone can have their own directory in it. So 6,000 sometimes barely covers it.
Yeah, see, Craig though is of the mind that whenever you hand him an iPod, it's like, wow, that thing holds 10,000 songs. Why would you ever need that much? That's like 20 days. It's not that you need 20 days worth of music. It's not that you need 6,000 phone numbers. It's that you have the capacity, you have the storage and the availability of 6,000 numbers. It's a great feature. I applaud.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So those are all important features that we've had in previous models that we kept in this system, but what we have done is we've evolved this connect to cell, where in past we really focused on just voice. But as everyone knows, people are not just communicating with voice, they're also doing texting and other social media on their smartphone. And so what this system will allow you to do is that it will allow the phone will alert you if you have a text waiting on your smartphone, if you have a Facebook entry, if you have an Instagram, or a few other social media sites that I don't actively use. It will give you email alerts. It will give you calendar alerts. So a lot of things that we get really comfortable with our smartphones, but when we're at home, a lot of times they're sitting on a charger, and I might be in another room and not know I received any of these alerts. This system will give you those alerts via, it'll give you a audible alert saying you've got an alert on your smartphone, and then it will tell you on the displays what type of alert. But we don't send the messages to your cordless system because this is an expandable system, and you might not want everyone to read what text you just got or what message was put on Facebook. So we protect you that way. So we give you alerts. And
so and you have a couple other features here. The virtual multi-line operation.
Yes, I use that a lot.
Now, what is that?
So what that is that even though we call this a two-line telephone because it will take two landlines, it'll take connections to two landlines, but you also can have two cell phones connected to this actively. So it's really a virtual four-line system. So on one handset you could be on landline 1. On the second handset you could be on landline 2. On a third handset you could be on a cell phone call. And on the fourth handset you could be on the other cell phone, all simultaneously.
Wow. Now, that is very nice. Now one other thing that I have not seen, or it's not very common, is that most sets like this will give you 2 or 3 or maybe 4 handsets. My understanding is that you can get up to 12 handsets with this base unit. Is that correct?
You could get up to 12 handsets, or actually I would say you could have up to 12 devices. They could be handsets. You can also connect one of our AT&T DEC cordless headsets.
Mm-hmm.
You can also register a DECT cordless speakerphone to the system. So if you had a need for 12 different communication devices, you could have a combination of those 3 different devices paired to this one system.
Mm. Now, and also the range on this, I understand this is quite good as well.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to come out and say you'll get this amount of feet of range because there's so many environmentally factors.
Mm-hmm.
In my household with this phone, I can get throughout my entire house, and I can actually be on a call and be to my community mailbox, which is 3 houses up.
Wow. Yeah.
So it should give you more than enough range that any home or small business would need.
Now, also, this has a kind of a unique feature, which I hadn't said. It actually has something called push to talk, which is sort of like these. You see some cell phones. Tell us what that is and why that's kind of different.
And we don't have that on all our phones.
No.
All of our cordless phones that are expandable have intercom. And what intercom is I can ring a handset from one handset, and what that'll do is it'll intercom and it'll make the other handset ring, and then somebody has to pick it up and hit answer.
Mm.
In a business environment, you might not want to wait for somebody to go up and pick up the handset. You want to broadcast directly to that handset. So push to talk is like a walkie-talkie, and you can push to an individual handset, or you can do a global page, and it opens up the channel, and it just you speak right to that other device. So it can't be any quicker or easier to do.
Well, it seems like you've really thought of a lot of all the different things that people want in a phone. I assume that when you select from a feature set like this, or you add a feature set, there's some sort of consumer poll that you go through to find out, what's important to someone who would need a phone like this? I mean, what's the process?
Yeah, we do that every single year. We pull consumers and over 1,000 consumers and these are people who are actually using telephones. And so we ask them a lot of questions. We have a residential telephone line and our business telephone line, and we ask the specific questions of what's important to you.
Do you worry that?
And then one other feature that I wanted to tell you about that came up in this survey.
Uh-huh.
All right, go ahead.
Well, hold on. One feature. Do you worry as a telephone manufacturer that things are changing so rapidly? People are now using the internet and they're using cell phones. We're finding more and more people don't own landline telephones anymore. Is that a concern to VTech?
It's a reality that technology is impacting our category. It isn't as fast as a lot of people would think. But a lot of people, from a residential standpoint, are eliminating their landline and going with a cell phone only. And we are seeing that, and that is impacting our business. From a business standpoint, on the business side, people are not doing that. There's still, a huge percentage of businesses that subscribe to landline.
Yeah,
we put a lot of focus on the business side.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, I'm not. Businesses I think, are always going to need telephones. That's the nature of the business. But consumers, we're finding more and more people are giving up their landlines, and they're either using cell phones or they're using Skype, or a combination of that, or the internet. I mean, there are a lot of alternative services out there. The voice over IP technology, like companies like Ooma. Out there that make these little base phones where you can make free long-distance phone calls. Magic Jack, another one. I mean, those types of devices seem to be really resonating a note with consumers.
Yeah, and those services still have a phone signal and still connect telephones to. So those are having a positive impact to us. And so are the cable companies that have their triple plays. I mean, those are VoIP services also. And so those actually are growing our category. The ones that are really kind of dropping are your plain old telephone service.
Yes.
Those are reducing at a quick rate.
Yeah, POTS is really going away.
I will tell you that we're still projected to sell over 20 million phones in this industry this year.
Well, but again, as I said, I think business will always have need for telephones. They're not going to have cell phones. Nothing's going to replace that. And on all the equipment that companies use for conducting business, I think that'll always be.
Employees come and go, but phones are forever. It's in the office. It won't come in late for work. The phone is the phone is the phone.
There you go. Well, listen, Brad. I want to thank you for being with us here tonight. If people want to go, they can go to the VTech website, which is VTechPhones.com. They can go there and see all the different phones that the VTech makes. VTech Communications makes. They can. And you mentioned there are some AT&T phones that you have a partnership with as well. But I think the easiest thing is just go to VTechPhones.com or just go to our website, ComputerAmerica.com, click on the show notes button. You'll see today's show, and you'll see the link to VTechPhones.com there as well.
By the way, VTech Phones, do you have to have you said that you had a relationship with AT&T. Do you have to have an AT&T service to use a VTech phone?
Oh, no. There's no affiliation to the service.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Well, Brad, again, I want to thank you for being with us here tonight and telling us about the TL86103 and all the different great phones that VTech makes. And thanks so much for being with us here on Computer America tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. All right. So there you go. VTech phones. By the way, we're going to do some computer news. But I do have an upgrade alert, and I have time to do that. So why don't we do an upgrade alert? Firefox just came out today with an update. It's version 35.0.1. They've fixed a number of bugs in it. They've added a number of new features, which I really like. They have a Firefox Hello with a new rooms-based conversations model, which is kind of interesting. A new search user interface that they've added, improved and enabled for more locales. They also have something called the Firefox Marketplace, and you can access that from the Tools menu, an optional toolbar button. They've added additional support for H.264, that's MP4 on Mac OS X. Let's see what else they've improved high-quality image resizing performance on it too, and a number of bug fixes. Basically, if you have Firefox up and running, just make sure that you get the automatic updates, and then you won't have to worry about that. All right, Ben and I are going to come back and do some computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. You listen to the Computer America show. We're going to take a brief break, and then we'll continue on. You listen to us on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. We will be right back. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
You're just in time. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the GE Jasco Wireless Home Camera Monitor. Now, the GE Jasco 2.4 gigahertz wireless color digital home monitoring kit allows one-way color video and two-way audio communication between a small and nimble camera and a 3.5-inch LCD monitor. The color camera can plug in through a wall wart or use 4 AA cells for power. It includes a motion detector, a temperature sensor, a mic, a speaker, and night vision to 20 feet in black and white. The monitor has a docking easel stand that keeps its battery charged, displays the camera video plus date, time, and temperature, allows talkback to the camera, remotely turns the camera's nightlight on or off, and can even play stored lullaby tunes through the camera's speaker. The camera can also manually or automatically record to a micro SD card, which is not included, and it records that at the monitor. For working at home, it's a way to keep an eye on the infants. At home or in the office, it's a way to keep an eye on the doorstep or lobby or for incoming deliveries. Bottom line, the GE Jasco Wireless Home Camera Monitor extends your hearing and vision to useful places in useful ways. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. It's 33 minutes past the hour, and we're doing we are about to do computer technology news. VTech just left us. We're all still very heartbroken over it, but we shall move on.
Why am I seeing only the top of your head?
Good question. I was fiddling with the webcam because I found a website that actually it accesses your webcam.
Oh.
And as depending on the brightness of your room through your webcam, the image on the screen actually changes. So it's like daytime, nighttime kind of deal. So I was putting my thumb over it, but that's neither here nor there.
No, it isn't. Well, again, thanks to VTech for being here in the first half hour. But we just had that the update report for Firefox just came out, 35.something.1, I believe it is. And I think all their numbers stay consistent too. That's the same whether it be for Windows or for Mac. And and of course we had the special Marty Winston News Tips report talking about Windows 10 might actually be a subscription base, which is very bizarre. And I'm going to, when Mike Miller is going to be on the show with us Friday, we'll probably have even more information about that. Although it was nice to hear that our first hour guest actually read Mike Miller's book on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, the guest does sound like he throws a wide net, and that he said he reads pretty much any Bitcoin literature he can get his hands on. But Michael Miller, we have him on all the time. He is a very prolific writer, as we say in his intro.
Yes, he is, and
he writes a lot.
Yeah, I will mention the fact that he he read his book too. I'm sure he'll be very pleased to hear that. Okay, well then I think we'll do some computer news. Okay.
All right.
All right, let's do it. Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for
free.
Yes, for free. Everything at slimwareutilities.com is completely free, all their software. And so no reason why not download them all. I mean, you'll have them there. They really, truly do clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. And it is completely free. They don't charge you at all. Download them all, use them all, keep them all. You'll be happy that you did, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. And in this first story, we're going to take a closer look at quantum dots. How nanocrystals can make LCD TVs better.
Quantum dot. The next thing you're going to be hearing about, besides the 4K, 4K UHD LED, OLED, curved screen, Wi-Fi, smart TV, like all these jargon, and this is just the latest in the long line of them recently.
Yes, and we're gonna hear more about it. Now, this article goes on for quite a bit, but we'll just cover some of the key points here. Now, basically, the author says that quantum. He says, I don't think there's been a cooler name for a TV technology ever. He says, but what they can do and how they work is even cooler. Now, these are found in the newest LCD TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, and others. The quantum dots evidently hold the promise of better color reproduction, better energy efficiency, and more. The claim, by the way, by nearly every TV manufacturer at CES this year is for better, more lifelike color, which basically leads to improved contrast. Each company is doing quantum dots, by the way, a little bit differently, but the results should be similar. A more lifelike color is possible. Now, here's how they work and what they can do. 2 years ago, he wrote about an article, what quantum dots are, and at the time there was only a single quantum dot display. Okay, now some things have changed, some stay the same. So, what's the what? Now, quantum dots basically are microscopic nanocrystals that glow a specific wavelength or color when given energy. The exact color produced by the quantum dot depends on its size, Larger for longer wavelengths, that's redder colors. Smaller for shorter wavelengths, which is bluer. That's a bit of an oversimplification, but that's the basic idea. Specific wavelengths of color is what we need to get a great image on a TVs. And using the three primary colors of red, green, and blue, we can mix a full rainbow of teals, oranges, yellows, and more. Now, plasma and CRT TVs use phosphors to create the red, green, blue. All LCDs use color filters to do the same. And there are multiple ways to use quantum dots in a display. Now he talks about the different ways that he does this. That they do this.
Yeah, it seems like the first one are tubes, and it was the most common way to use them was in tubes. So the TV is edge lit with blue LEDs. In front of the LEDs is a tube of red and green quantum dots. The blue LED creates blue light and the energy from the quantum dots to create green and red light. Since blue is, of course, the shortest, and then you can elongate it or mess with it after the fact. So everything's blue until it gets changed to red or green.
Right. Now, the other method is to use a layer of quantum dots as an additional layer in the LCD sandwich. This method still uses blue LEDs, but uses a lot more quantum dots as they have to cover the entire screen area.
Yep.
And then, I'll go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and then the blue LEDs or the blue lights from the blue LEDs on the edge of the screen reflect off the light guide. This passes through a quantum dot layer, energizing them and sending RGB light through the rest of the LCD, including the liquid crystal layer that blocks the light. So it seems like, first of all, it's not just it's going to replace everything. It's going to be quantum dot technology built into an LCD or an LED screen.
Right.
So it's not going to replace it. It's not like this is a completely different type of screen. It's just technology added to it.
However, the future holds some interesting. He says there are other ways to use quantum dots. Potentially, you could have a direct view quantum dot display with red, green, and blue QDs getting energy directly, which is electroluminescence. The blue, like with OLED, is the trouble spot there, which is why all current QDs still use blue LEDs. So will we see direct QDs someday, display someday? Well, maybe. That's what he says. Now,
I think the bottom line here, though, is that it's exciting. It's just like HDR, but it is still new technology. There's a risk that the manufacturers they could overkill it because it's going to provide naturally. It's going to provide a better, more lifelike color. But to sell TVs, if you haven't noticed, when you go to the store and you look at them on the screen, they tend to jack up the saturation, they jack up the hues, they turn all the settings on the television to unrealistic levels just to make it more vibrant, more colorful, just so it catches your eye, and therefore you buy it. But there's a risk when they do that with quantum dot technology that they completely overshoot it, and it makes it look completely unrealistic, unnatural, off-putting to a point because it's going to be so much more colorful and that kind of thing. But in the end, the technology behind it is solid, and you will get a more accurate color.
More lifelike color. Yeah, exactly. And they're here now, so if you're in the market for TV, this might be something you might want to check out.
But it's a developing technology, so early adopters, you know the whole Shazam.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so how about this one? Dropcam, I believe we've had them on the show before.
Dropcam?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have.
I don't know.
If not, we need to have them. Dropcam, apparently this one from Engadget, will give you a free replacement camera if yours is too old.
Oh, cool.
Check that out. So normally companies don't do much for you when they've stopped supporting a device. They'll give you a too bad so sad notice and ask you to buy their latest gear. Not Dropcam, however. The Nest-owned company is ditching support for both its original home security camera and the Echo on April 15th. What an ominous day. But it's also launching a replacement program that will get you a free Dropcam HD if you own one of the older models. You'll have to switch to a new subscription plan if you want the cam to be useful for cloud video recording, but there otherwise aren't any strings attached. Dropcam will maintain legacy service for free until the cutoff date and refund the difference if you've paid for a yearly plan. This isn't really an altruistic gesture. The company makes at least $99 per year from your subscription, but it'll at least take some of the pain out of switching to newer technology.
Very cool.
Very nice.
I can't think of very many companies who, when the product they make gets old, they give you another one for free. Can you? I don't.
That's their business model. You know, for some companies, oh, when can we get this new product out? We really want to start making some money, so we can discontinue our support for the old stuff and get the new one out, and people buy the new one. Like, that's their business model.
Yeah, but this is something pretty cool. I mean. Yeah.
Like they said, though, it's still $100 a year if you want to use it using cloud service, which I think a lot of people who use Dropcam do. But even so, free camera.
That's it. Yeah, very nice.
Still good.
Yeah. Hey, the Super Bowl is just around the corner, and evidently the NFL is bringing the Super Bowl to a YouTube channel. That is really cool. And they're also unveiling a new partnership with YouTube's parent, Google. Now, the NFL has officially come to YouTube. The league announced today that it's finally created its own channel on the world's biggest online video network as part of a broader partnership with YouTube's parent, Google, which includes NFL videos, news, and other information available directly in Google searches. The new tie-up, though, coming just days before Super Bowl 49, is one more part of the NFL's effort to expand its presence on the internet, as it hopes to maintain its huge audience even as more users are switching over to streaming video services like Hulu and Netflix. The NFL in the past has been very protective of its content, working to push people to watch its games on TV or go to its website, though that strategy hasn't always worked. YouTube users have already uploaded plenty of unsanctioned NFL videos, so the new channel could be seen as a blocking play. Okay.
Blocking play. Yeah, little sports pun there. It's true though. Just real quick. I mean, the plenty of people, everyone, whoever watches football, they go to YouTube and they look for the clip that they're trying to remember, and then they take that clip and they share it among everyone. You could probably go to top 10 best NFL plays, and you'll find videos with tens, if not hundreds, of millions of views. And Google, they want people to come to YouTube to, first of all, to look at their ads, and second of all, they want them to use their platform. NFL can easily get paid, tons of money, tons and tons of money for just being on YouTube, because YouTube is accessible, let's face it, to everyone.
Everyone, literally.
Who doesn't have access to YouTube?
Yeah.
So NFL, if they came on and they tried to capitalize on that, they'd make a pretty penny and make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
Seems like a win-win.
It is a win-win. Yeah, it seems to be that way. As part of the NFL's push to grow its footprint online, the league launched the NFL Now Network back in August. The video service allows fans to watch personalized on-demand videos of their desktops, iOS and Android mobile devices, and streaming services such as Apple TV, Roku, and Xbox. The free service includes video highlights of games, press conferences, and videos produced by NFL Films. So there you have it, just in time for the Super Bowl 49. Okay.
This is a good shift. We were just talking about cord cutting, cutting the cable cord, being a cord cutter last Friday.
Yeah.
If you recall.
Yes.
And do you recall what the second point on that 9-point section was?
No, what was that?
If you are a fan of sports, it's hard to get sports if you're a cord cutter, because between the NFL, MLB, NBA, what have you, they have pretty big exclusivity deals with cable networks. But it seems like they're trying to embrace online, so the more sports come online, especially if sometime in the future, it didn't say in that particular article if you were going to be able to subscribe or even pay the NFL through YouTube to stream the game online, but I could totally see a future where YouTube lets you subscribe and or pay because they do it with movies already. You can actually purchase movies through YouTube. You know
Yeah.
that, right?
Yes, I do know that.
Yes. Well, I could totally see a future where you could actually either pay because right now through DirecTV, Comcast, Xfinity, what have you, you can actually pay for a sports package. I could see you paying for a sports package through YouTube, and then if you're a cord cutter, this is amazing. This is just what you wanted. If you watch sports but you want to cut the cable cord, this is perfect. This is a cool story.
Yes, it is. It's very cool. All right. And again, just in time for the Super Bowl.
Yep, their NFL is definitely trying to embrace instead of evade, which is nice. Here's one. Here's a story that will change pretty much everything you know if it's true.
All right.
And we've heard about it for a while. Nothing's really come of it. It's kind of like those batteries that are super awesome, super high capacity, super powerful. It's like cars that run on water. It's one of those technologies where you're like, man, that sounds amazing. Can't wait till it comes out, and then you never hear from it again.
Yeah, I hate that.
Well, it turns out that flawless graphene just can't make it out of the labs. It's a super material. Everyone's talking about it. It's going to go into so many things. It just can't make it out of the labs unless this story is true. So price of flawless graphene will be reduced from $1,200 a piece to $1.20 in a few years.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's like 1,000. It's 1,000% drop.
Well, what is flawless graphene?
I'm sure it's in the article. If not, we'll go into it and find it. But let's start with the article. PhD candidate Xu Enzu developed a method that could produce high-quality graphene for a fraction of the current price. What's more, he's demonstrated the quality in working devices. Zhu has demonstrated millimeter-sized graphene crystals made by chemical vapor deposition of methane on a copper sheet. He sends a low-pressure mix of hydrogen, methane, and argon over a copper sheet at a temperature of 1,000 degrees Celsius. The copper acts as a catalyst, stripping the hydrogen from the methane, leaving pure carbon that sticks to the surface and perfectly aligns with other carbon atoms into an endless sheet of pure graphene. Other parties need 10 hours to produce graphene by deposition. Zhu, however, has brought the production time to about 1 hour by splitting the quartz tube in which the deposition takes place and the oven that surrounds it. So he says that right now a single sheet costs about €1,000, and instead it's going to be about a single euro in a few years. So for everyone who doesn't know, the 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Carbon. I'm sorry. Flawless graphene. Graphene is a single atom-sized thick layer of carbon crystals all the way through, and it's pretty much the most conductive, and it's able to hold energy really, really well, and conduct energy and release energy extremely well. If you put this stuff inside a battery, I mean, it could hold so much more energy. It could release it so much better. This stuff is the super material. It's much more durable. So if you created, I mean, right now we're talking about carbon nanotubes. This stuff is better. Has a better tensile strength than carbon nanotubes. It would just go into manufacturing, batteries, phones, devices. This stuff is how you would build the computer chips of tomorrow. This thing would go into everything technology, everything manufacturing.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that, so now I do.
But and that's just the thing, though, is it's awesome. It's amazing. It will change so much because, Craig, you keep saying you're waiting for that battery breakthrough.
Yep.
Graphene will make it happen. It's so amazing, and everyone can't wait for it to come out. It just can't leave the laboratory. It's too expensive. So hopefully, if his current way of producing flawless graphene is correct, we're going to start seeing all these revolutions come about.
Very nice. All right. Well, that's good. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
No.
Needs to happen.
I just want to mention that Logitech has a $500 Conference Cam Connect. They're calling it as a portable all-in-one solution. A Logitech today announced its new Conference Cam Connect. It's a portable all-in-one video conferencing solution with a cylindrical design and flexible compatibility that slips in between the company's entry-level and high-end conference cams. It works with any computing device with a USB port, PC, Mac, Chromebook, and plays nice with just about every video conferencing software, such as Microsoft Sync and Skype, Cisco, Jabber, WebEx, Citrix GoToMeeting, BlueJeans, and more. Now, the cylindrical design is aimed at making the device more portable and is intended for small groups consisting of 1 to 6 people. It's affordable and flexible compared to high-end video conferencing systems built for large rooms, and much more practical for small groups than trying to cram everyone in front of a webcam, thus revealing who forgot to put on deodorant. Logitech's Conference Cam Connect supports a 90-degree field of view with digital pan and tilt, along with 4x full HD zoom. It also features Zeiss optics with autofocus, a speakerphone, and support for both mobile and USB audio calling, Bluetooth, NFC, 360-degree full duplex sound, and acoustic echo and noise canceling technology. And it comes with a really fancy remote. This is a really nice setup here. The Logitech Conference Cam Connect will be available in March for $500. That's MSRP, or about the cost of an office chair. Okay, so there you go. It looks really nice too, and certainly seems like it'll do the job. Logitech comes up with some really, really cool stuff. You know, we should try to get them on the show to talk about something like this. This looks very, very cool.
Who, Logitech?
Yeah, Logitech. Yeah.
They're sponsors all the time, Craig. I believe you have their number.
I know. I'm just thinking maybe we ought to get them on the show to talk about this. This is really cool.
I'm sure they love to. We give away their prizes, but people like the stuff. I personally use their headsets whenever my dog feels the need to chew and break it. I run out, and the first one to grab, because I know it's just going to plug and play right out the box and work well, is of course Logitech. And
of course, I'm looking right at your earpiece. You know, I got a good shot, and it says Logitech right on the earpiece.
It does. Yeah. It says right there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have other microphones and stuff like that, but Logitech can't beat them. Nope. We only have like a minute or two left, so I just want to get this out there. Ladies and gentlemen, today, January 26th, if you are listening to this tomorrow, the day after, 27th, 28th, and you are in the Northeast, you have our condolences. There is a huge blizzard. I found a picture, this one from Popular Science, but if you're in the area, you already know there's a huge blizzard coming, and they said it's going to be a record setter. No way.
Goodness.
Yep. So New York City, as well as Boston and Philadelphia, New England, places like that. This blizzard is huge.
Wow! Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah. I actually have a friend up in New Hampshire who says they're going to get about 2 feet of snow overnight.
Mm.
It's going to be bad. So be safe out there. Hopefully you have your supplies stocked up just in case of this. But undoubtedly, power outages, that kind of thing. Get out the playing decks and whatnot, because or the board games. You're probably not going to have electricity, and we wish you the best.
Yes, absolutely. That is a monster-looking storm.
It's a huge one. They said it's going to be record-setting. It's going to drop tons and tons of snow. Man, and just looking at the picture, it extends from the middle of the United States all the way over into the ocean. This thing is hundreds, if not thousands of miles long.
Yeah. Well, just as a final recap, for those of you, again, who you should have gotten your show reminder today, and hopefully you got that. And if not, head over to our website at computeramerica.com And just click on our show, not our show notes page, but our weekly newsletter page, and then it'll take you right to where you can sign in and get your email address. This is the third one now, the third time that it's gone out from our new distributor. So if you haven't been getting the show reminder, you need to subscribe.
90 seconds.
And of course, from that subscriber, we also give away that.
Although I'll be honest with you, if you haven't gotten it 3 times in a row, this is your fault at this point.
This is right. Yeah, exactly. Now, what's coming up on tomorrow night's show? We've got Doodle is going to be here tomorrow with us. Okay. And then they make the software that allows you to schedule conferences or meetings and do it in a very, very easy fashion. They've got something,
60 seconds.
a new app and new things to talk about in the first hour. In the second hour, if you're hungry, we're going to have Mellow Mushroom. They're a pizza place, and pizza, I guess, is the official food of computer users everywhere. They're going to be on the second hour. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow night. Thank you so much for being with us here. Again, thanks to Alex for talking about the Bitcoin comic, and of course VTech talking about their high-tech telephones. Thanks to both of them for being here on the show.
For sure.
So that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
10 seconds.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching us on our live video streaming page, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night. So have a good one.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.